Hello, everyone. How are you all? A very good afternoon to one and all present here. So, today is the I hope I'm audible to all. Hello, everyone. I am audible to all. A very good afternoon, and good evening to one and all present here. So, very good evening, very good morning, since the people have joined to us from all the parts of the world. So, please extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you present here. So, this is the live webinar we are presenting on the topic plagiarism, editing, and proofreading. So, here, let me just share the screens for all of you. Just give me a minute. Yeah, just give me a minute. We are here only. Let me just share the screens with all of you. Yeah. Okay. So, the topic which we are going to talk about today is plagiarism, editing, and proofreading. See, it is a very important topic for all of us. A reason being, it is a very sensitive topic to talk about. Why sensitive topic? Because research is a very much talked about aspect these days, especially. Why? Because be it about your academic what do you call as the promotion or the academic requirement for any course, you need to publish the papers, right? So for research paper writing, your research aspects needs to be very strengthened. Okay, for the same, it's very important that your whatever research output is coming, it's very strong. Whatever you are writing is very strengthened. Okay, so for that perspective, today's webinar is aimed particularly for that thing. All right, so I hope the screen is shared with you all. Yeah, so this particular webinar is being organized by research graduate. Okay, so research graduate, if I talk about, is a one stop solution for all of you, which gives you a platform to sort out the queries wherein you can actually give yourself a breathe to sort out the queries related to your topic selection, your proposal writing, your review paper, be it any queries you have, your statistical analysis, your editing, your proofreading. So, research graduate primarily is that one stop solution where you can contact us and get yourself. Get yourself answered, get yourself what you may say that get yourself suggested with the most probable solutions of the queries, of the questions which you have related to any questions you have with your research queries. Okay, because with us, there are many students, there are many beginner researchers, there are many academicians also, because we might get stuck with situations where we don't know where to begin with, what to do with the statistical part of the analysis, and many a time we get stuck with the in fact the proper aspect of the writing. Okay, so for that you may find research graduate as a one stop solution. All right. Okay, so next question comes, how to contact research graduate. So in that, At the given ID, you can see that you may contact us, and the given number also you may contact us for any query you have for your research queries if related to anything. And you can also browse us on researchgraduate.com. This was about Research Graduate and about me myself, Dr. Renu Mishra, and I am associated with the institutions based in Dubai for the management courses of masters and the doctoral levels. And I have close to 12 to 14 years of experience of teaching management graduates. All right. So with this note, we begin our webinar structure, talking about that. See, our primarily this structures this webinar goes around 90 minutes or so. We don't stick to that timeline of that. Basically, it can stretch beyond 90 minutes, or also like 90-95 minutes or so also, or 80 to 85 minutes also. So I am not that clock tactical. So I believe that if the topic is well covered, we may stretch the time too. Okay. And it has been followed by a question and answer round. So that can take 30 minutes. And if you have more questions, we can stretch beyond 30 minutes or so also. So for me, your queries should be answered. So once your question and answers are answered, and your webinar is done, all your PPTs, all your recordings, all your certificates will be sent to you on your registered email ID. And regarding the most important thing on your related to your video quality of your YouTube video experience which you are having, related to your video, in case anybody, is, just give me a, in case any query which you have related to any point to your video quality, you may please increase your YouTube video quality to the prescribed specifications. It has been reflecting on your screen. Okay. Very important point is, anybody who has joined on this webinar on through your phones, they might can experience a glitch. Okay, they might can experience a glitch. So please just increase your video quality to the prescribed specification, or try to join it with the any desktop or any laptop if you have. All right, so let's get started. Let me just share the screen firstly to the, yeah, okay, okay, okay. So our topic for today is that we have to talk about plagiarism, proofreading, and research ethics. So we'll start with research ethics first of all. See, today's time is very crucial, especially for the researchers who are trying to make their mark in academics. Okay, who are new to the world of research, particularly who are looking for some PhD aspirations, or who are beginning up with their, some doctoral courses or some doctoral program. So, with each passing year, there are new specifications, and the universities are getting very stringent related to your publications. Okay, so when we talk about publications, this is a very important topic to talk about, and that is, just a second, let me just talk about this. Yeah, let me just start about it. Yeah, and that is research ethics. Okay. Now, when we talk about research ethics, so research ethics is primarily that aspect which is very crucial. Now, very crucial. Why? Because when you talk about research publications, when you talk about research, writing, when you talk about research, documentation, generally we get stuck with selecting papers, selecting review, selecting titles, statistical analysis. But this is one aspect which we generally don't consider, or which we generally don't pay attention to. But the point is that what exactly is this which we need to pay attention to? Okay, now let's talk about this. Can anybody in this entire chat thing, or in the audience, can let me know that what is um, research ethics? Please bear with this, sound, because I'm on vacations in India. So this sound is very familiar to me and of to people who are based in India also. Honking of the horns. Yeah. So coming back to the questions which I asked you, can anybody tell me what are research ethics? What are research ethics? Does anybody know what are research ethics? Okay. See, the word ethics basically, in general, what do we understand by ethics is ethics. Now, I'm not telling you about research. I'm telling you but just about the gradually what our ethics is. Ethics are those guiding principle which tells you what is right or wrong. Right? Alison and Vaishnavi, they have answered. In fact, Revati has answered, Alka has answered. Yes, exactly. All those who had answers. Selma, if you can't hear it, you may just need to check your audio, because everybody else is able to. So all of you have been answered, in their own way, correct way. I will add into that. First, let us first understand what are ethics. Ethics are those guiding principles which tells you what is right and what is wrong. These are the guiding principles of doing certain things in a right and a correct manner. Okay? So when we add research word to that, that becomes research ethics. Okay? So that becomes research ethics. So research ethics are those ethics or those practices which makes the way of doing research in a correct manner. All right, so those norms, those guiding principles which we need to follow during conducting our research. All right. Okay, ethics does not mean research hypothesis. Okay, all those who have discussed their views about research ethics, they are, they are right, they are partially right, or I would say that they are right in their own way. Okay, so research ethics primarily, see, whatever is written on the screen, you may discuss that, you may have a look on that when you will receive your PPTs. However, I'm discussing a normal view of research ethics so that you all can understand. Now, the question comes that how are we concerned about research ethics? Now, nowadays, when a lot of duplication of research is coming out, if I have published my work and one fine day I get to know that similar work is being published by somebody else also, without giving acknowledgement, without giving credit to me, because they have adopted my work in their work as well. So, this is that they have not followed any particular research ethics. Exactly. So you need to follow the research ethics. In fact, let me tell you that many universities in their research work, they have a specific section of ethical consideration in which you need to follow that how you have followed the ethics, research ethics during the conduct of your research. So it's not only about copying, do not copying another works. It also means that how you have ethically conducted your research, how ethically you have collected the data from your sample, how ethically you have analyzed your data, how unbiased you were while collecting your sample, how unbiased you were while collecting your while analyzing your data, how unbiased you were while reaching out your into respondents, interviewees. Okay, so all this comes into research ethics. Okay, now also always take into this consideration, this is not in the slide, just hear me out, that whenever you are conducting some interviews, particularly interviews, in case of conducting any qualitative research, when you are supposed to be approached by any people who from whom you need to conduct some interviews, some open-ended interviews, try not to impose your views on your interviewees. Okay, why? I'll tell you. Because in that case, your thoughts, your views will be imposed on their thoughts. In that ways, your results will be tapered. Okay, in that ways, result will be tapered. So this is, that means you are coming beyond the boundaries of research ethics. And when we talk about plagiarism, that comes under the umbrella of research ethics. Okay, so research ethics covers plagiarism. Plagiarism is just one aspect of research ethics. So under research ethics comes plagiarism. Understand this. Okay, plagiarism is not copying somebody else's work, or without giving credit to somebody else's work. That we are going to talk about it. So that we will talk about it. So under research ethics, your plagiarism comes. Okay, that we will talk about. So in general, if I talk about what is research ethic, so research ethics are primarily, let's have a look like this. Research ethics are primarily those values, those norms which guides your research activities. Okay, so these are your moral principles, your practices, which restricts the what do you call as the uh, breaking out any rule which binds your research activities. Okay, so when you talk about research ethics, they regulates that how you need to conduct the research. Your originality should be there, your trustworthiness should be there. Like for example, if somebody says that, okay, I have somebody else's data, I have somebody else's literature, and this is I've heard these stories are quite often. I have somebody else's data, I have somebody else's literature, let's combine and make a new paper. You can't do that. This is this is a complete breaking out the research ethics. You can't do that. So originality should be there, your trustworthiness. Why I'm talking about? between the authors between the authors with whom you're working along. Okay, your integrity should be maintained. You should be impartial. When I'm talking, when I discussed about that, how you are when you are conducting the interview, or like let's say for example, you are conducting some observations for your research. Okay, the observation is a method, right? Observation is a method wherein you need to um, take some observation of the people, of your sample, doing some activity which is, uh, you need to do some activity, they are doing some activity, and then you need to take their activities recorded for your sessions. Now if those activities which you are recording, just understand, if you are recording those activities in your own understanding, if your perception is also getting mixed with it, you are getting partial. Okay, what you have to do is, whatever you are observing, whatever is happening in front of you, like for example, when I was doing my research, when I was doing my PhD, I did my um, research on change management in healthcare industry, and I had to observe the human behavior. I did observation in here on healthcare industry, and I observed the changing human behavior. So imagine if I would have introduced my perception in that human behavior, so the exact results which I was expecting would not have come, right? So any kind of your input during the data collection methods, like observations, your interviews, please, try to avoid them if you want to have more and more exact kind of results. That's a particular ethics needs to be followed when you are doing the when you are considering the ethical considerations while data collection, particularly while data collection, I'm telling you. Okay, for instance, when you are doing literature review, okay, when you are doing literature review, so plagiarism is one important ethics which needs to be followed while what do you call as yeah, ethics to be followed while doing literature review, that which we will be discussing in length in the further slides. Okay, when you are doing analysis, then don't fabricate the results, that okay fine, if the result is 0.54, I want 6.2, let's make it 6.2. Don't do that. Okay, don't just tamper with your results. So each section of your research has its own associated research ethics which you need to follow. Okay, then your responsibility, see, in today's date, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of the fact that your research does contribute towards the society and its benefits. Okay, society as its benefit, that means, what I meant to say is that, for example, that that you know a lot of researches are being conducted upon human behavior. Many of you are being talking about hazardous effect of many what do you call as many substances. Many of you are working on science and its related research. So how your research is helping the business and helping the community, that also is a contribution, and that also is a way where you are aligning by research ethics, that how you are fulfilling your social responsibility. Okay, all right, let's move on. These are some of the types of your research ethics which we have discussed, that following all the rules and regulations, your dignity, confidentiality, the privacy, giving equal credit to your co-authors, it's very important. See, this is also a very common practice, and sorry to say that if you are working with any co-authors of yours, and if you think that, not think only, if you think, if you know that even if a slight of the contribution is being given by any author, okay, even if the slight of the contribution is being given by any author, please give due credit to him or her. This is a very important research ethics to be followed by, should be followed by you. Okay, All right. Now, these are some academic writing ethics, which I think is an important aspect, should be considered by all the researchers, no matter that you are a new author or a practitioner or an academician or a researcher by nature or a doctoral candidate, no matter what. Don't do plagiarism, which we'll discuss at length. Please, I mean, plagiarism is definitely not a welcome aspect by any journal, also, because they will clearly check that your plagiarism is highly, is highly avoided. Okay, you can't just have plagiarism to be included in your research. Definitely not. Okay, an unbiased report is always welcome. Okay, unbiased report is always welcome. You can't have a report which is manipulated by you, a report which is been, just fabricated by you, which is a perfect image, which has a perfect image by the author. No, you can't do that. Okay, just be very careful that every report which you think that it is carefully maintained by you, it is not to be submitted for publication. If you think that any kind of fabrication I have done as an author, please don't do that. Okay, then confidentiality, patent if it's required, and obviously peer reviewed journal. uh, if you are submitting to completely abide by the rules and regulations which they following, and please do not fail to give credit to your co-authors. Please do not give, please do not fail to give credit to your author, even if this is not written to my slides, even if somebody have done slight of your work, even if somebody have just helped you to work on your data analysis, give credits to them. Okay, it's not like that anybody who has worked with you throughout the paper, that only he or she only is your co-author. No, if anybody has worked only your literature review or your data analysis, please give credits to them. Okay, this also is your research ethics. Okay. Okay, now comes a very important aspect of your research ethics, that is plagiarism. And these days, when you talk about plagiarism, I think this has become talk of the town. Why? Because journals have become very cautious. Journals have become very, very cautious, and they have they are being paying really, really very strong attention that from where the authors are taking their content from. Have they taken all the requisite information from the right authenticated places? Is the right credibility is being given or not? Anything related to plagiarism is being very microscopic view is being given to that. Okay, now let's understand what is plagiarism. See, whenever you're using somebody else's language, somebody else's idea, somebody else's material, but you're not acknowledging that source. Let's say you think that this particular content, let's say you say that XYZ content is good for my article, and you feel like, okay, fine, let me take it, but you do not give credits to that. That's plagiarism. Okay, that comes under the knife of plagiarism. Now, is this only plagiarism? No. Then Is it plagiarism if I copy the content but cite the source? That's first question. That means if I have completely copied the content, that means I have completely taken the content, but I have given the source from wherever I have copied the content is. So their answer is yes, it is. But there is one point to consider. Carefully listen. You cannot copy the content entirely, okay? Unless it is a definition, unless it is a definition, or it is a source, or it is a statement stated by somebody, okay? It is a definition which is being stated by somebody. So if there is a definition which is stated by somebody, you may completely copy it. You can't change a definition, okay? So if it's a definition, you may copy it, okay? But other than a definition or a stated sentence, stated statement, you can't copy it, okay? Okay, next point. Is it plagiarism if I copy my own content? So the answer is yes, exactly. Now again, listen to me. If you copy your content from your previously published work only, let's say, for example, I'm writing a paper, okay, and that paper needs some material from my previously published paper. Understand, okay? I'm writing a paper now. I have already a published paper previously, okay? Now, I want to take that material from that paper. And if I copy the content from that, will it be a plagiarism? Yes. It is called as self plagiarism. So, whatever we are doing to avoid the plagiarism for other authors, we will be doing the same thing for us also. Even if we have taken the content from the our own source also. Okay? Next point. Is it plagiarism if I substitute for few words? Like rest of the content is same. I just have replaced few words. Then the answer is yes. You just need to just can't just replace few words, okay? Keeping the meaning same, you need to change the language, entire language, okay? All right. Now there are some facts about plagiarism. False and true, I have categorized it both ways, so you can have a look. I'll just randomly pick a couple of it. You don't have to cite your own work. No, you have to cite it. If it's not wrong, if I do it accidentally, no, it is wrong. Accidentally or non-accidentally, because the person who is reviewing your work, they don't know, right? They don't know whether you have accidentally plagiarized your work or not, okay? It's an author's responsibility whether you have done it or not, or whether you should do it or not. I'm talking about the plagiarism, okay? All right, let's move further now. Now, why we need to concerned about plagiarism? It's very important. See, in my opinion, it's very, very simple. Plagiarism is as good as you are cheating somebody. Okay, that can be in many ways. Also, being honest, understand this thing. Even if the slide is not visible right now, just listen to me. Also, if you know that your work, whatever you have written, whatever you are submitting, is your pure content, your work, you will be thoroughly confident. Okay, you will be thoroughly confident. You will not be having any fear of getting the work being rejected. You will not be, you will not uh, be worried about whether my work will be rejected by the journal, or whether my work will be, you know uh, just give me a minute, whether my work will be rejected by a journal or not, if there is no scope of plagiarism there. Okay, so in my opinion, you should be very much concerned about plagiarism, because journals, professors, they use various ways to catch up your plagiarism. Even if when you submit your doctoral thesis, all those who are the new researchers, they are working on their research, they must be knowing God. Or even if they don't know it, let me tell them that when you submit your research, doctoral research, your thesis gets under the plagiarism checker, or the plagiarism software, so as to check that how much plagiarism is there in the thesis. Okay, so you need to be very much careful that how much plagiarism, because I'm not saying that always there should be a 0%. 0% is also achievable target, but the point is that you should be careful right from the beginning of the work, that you need to avoid it. Okay. Okay, now let's understand some couple of types of plagiarism. First is deliberate plagiarism. Deliberate plagiarism is, when you what you're doing intentionally. Okay, when you are presenting somebody else's work as your own work. Okay, somebody else's paper you're presenting as your own work, somebody else's work as your own work without citing it, just copy paste and just presenting it as yours, no citation. Okay, without identifying the source, submitting as the original work. So when you're doing this, that is deliberate plagiarism. And I'm not saying is a very common type of plagiarism, but yes, people still do it. People still do it. So kindly avoid it, presenting somebody else's work as your own work. Okay, as the name suggests, so it is very understandable. Patchwork plagiarism. Now, patchwork plagiarism is that you took some words from here, some ideas from there, and joining them together. So there is no change. So couple of ideas from one place, couple of ideas from another place. So those idea remains the same, though that language remains the same. You just join them together. Okay, and at many instances, students give credit to them. At many instances, students do not give credit to them. Okay, so this is called patchwork, the way we do patches on the our clothes, right? So you're taking some of the content from one place, some of the content from another place, and then just you are just placing them together and just presenting at your own work. That's called patchwork plagiarism. Okay, another is bluffing. Bluffing is that basically, you have just read some books or academic journals, some ideas you have noted down, you have read some books, some journals you have read, and you have just noted down the key ideas. Now what happened is that those idea which are somebody else's idea, you have read the material, you have got through the ideas, they are somebody else's ideas. Now you are claiming the ownership of those words. Those ideas, those ownerships are not yours. Okay, those ideas, those ownerships are not yours, but you are claiming them as yours. That's called bluffing. That also a type of plagiarism. All those who have questions, we will be taking as the questions later on. Okay, I will be answering all those questions later on. All right. So, all those, Miss Priyanka, thank you for answering the questions on my behalf. But I think there's no need from now on. But I'll be taking all these answers, all these questions, sorry, by the end of the webinar. Thank you so much. Okay. Please make a note of your questions. All of you, all those have the questions, I'll be taking once the webinar is end. All right. Okay. Now come paraphrasing. Now, you'll be having a question in mind that paraphrasing, you must have heard that paraphrasing is a way that helps you to come out of plagiarism. Now paraphrasing basically just helps you to alter couple of words. Just you have changed one or two words, few words you have changed, and then you are good to go. Okay, but this is not the way you avoid plagiarism. Okay, in paraphrasing, that also comes under plagiarism, it's type of plagiarism. You just changed change just couple of words, just few words, and entire sentence remains the same. Okay, what do you do in paraphrasing? The one or two words you just change, and the entire sentence you just keep as it is. That's called paraphrasing plagiarism. So the sentence actually remains the same. You've just used the synonym of the couple of words. Okay. Okay. Then comes patchwork plagiarism, which I have, you know, already have explained. Mosaic plagiarism. Mosaic plagiarism basically using synonyms to replace the words of existing authors in an attempt to pass off the work as their own. Now, what you are doing is you are using the synonym. In paraphrasing and mosaic plagiarism, what is the difference? In plagiarism, you are just replacing the words, but you are giving the credits. Okay. In mosaic plagiarism, what happening? You are using the synonym, you are replacing the words, but you are not giving the credits also. Okay. You are not giving the credits also. In mosaic plagiarism, you are not giving the credits also. In paraphrasing, you are giving credits, but just using the synonym. In mosaic plagiarism, you're using the synonym, but no credits. Okay, just synonym, and you're presenting as your own work. Okay, all right. Then come accidental plagiarism. It is like that, sometimes what happen is just that, you just by mistake forgets to cite the sources, and you miss the citations. That's called accidental plagiarism. Okay, it's called accidental plagiarism. Okay. Inaccurate authorship also. Inaccurate authorship means complete details of all the authors involved in the writing process. It is also not correct, and it is violation of the research ethics. If you have 5 authors, give the details of all. If you have 4 authors, give the details of all. What happened is, I have seen these cases that the main author generally avoid giving the details of all the authors. I have seen this happening with many, because then they think that this is a long list of people who the journal will think this is a long list of people who have written the papers and all that stuff. No, this is wrong. You have to give the details of all the people who have been involved in the process of writing the papers. All right. Okay. Then self plagiarism. I have already discussed that when you are copying your own work, but you're not giving credits even to yourself. That means no citations. All right. Now, contributing author plagiarism. Uh, Contributing author plagiarism means not crediting an author or editor who contributes to the work is considered plagiarism. That means even if any individual has edited your paper, let's say there are three authors, okay, two of you has worked considerably on your paper. You have given a blueprint, you have prepared uh, a, prepared a blueprint of the paper, and then you have given that blueprint to a third person, okay. Then third person has edited the paper, okay. So if you are not giving the complete details of that also, or not giving the authorship to of that person also, that is also not wrong, violating the research ethics, okay. Now, inaccurate authorship means, see, there is basically when you are not giving the details of every author, complete details, inaccurate authorship. Let's say there is a main author, there is a co author. For instance, I am as a co author submitting my paper, okay. Instead of main author, I am submitting my paper. So I am as a co author presenting myself as a main author, okay. Just give me a minute. I am as a co author, I am presenting my paper as a main author. That is inaccurate authorship. Okay. So, if, see, basically, let's say, for example, there is a percentage of every author who has contributed to your paper writing, main author, then you decide that in which series you will place the author, first, second, then third. Somebody, if just that, does that, he have does just done the editing of the paper, you will give the authorship to that paper, to that author, but at which sequence, that you can decide, but not giving the authorship, that is also wrong, and giving at the wrong sequence, that is also wrong, okay. All right. Now, aggregated plagiarism. Aggregated plagiarism means you, it's not necessarily that you copy completely, just replicate the paper, okay. It is like that, it's not necessarily that I have a paper written in front of me and I just copying the paper. No, it is like I am just, it is like writing a book summary, many authors, many of you, some many of you, many a times must have reviewed a book also. So what we do is we write a summary of that book. So writing the summary of that paper is also a plagiarism, that is aggregated plagiarism, okay. That is also a kind of plagiarism. Outline plagiarism is, that means using the outline of some other paper, theme of some other paper, is outline plagiarism, okay. Bibliography plagiarism is when you are using somebody else's paper's bibliography as yours. That's called plagiarism, which is fall into the category of bibliography plagiarism, okay. Now, question comes, see, we will be talking about how to avoid plagiarism also. Now, there's a one important very comment that it seems all kind of work falls under whatever type of plagiarism. In that case, what is seriously considered as plagiarism? See, let me tell you very important fact about plagiarism. One thing you always remember, all of you, we cannot copy the content of anybody else's, neither it is in its original form, neither it is in its outline form, neither it is in its theme form. Because see, understand very important fact, if I am doing my research, I am doing it with my full hard work, right? I am putting my 100% in that. If somebody else is doing that research similarly based on my work, and is very confidently copying my content, replicating my work with no contribution of his or her in the research domain, it is injustice to my work. So yes, you need to be careful that how much to adapt. You need to rephrase. Definitely when you are writing the literature review section, you need to consider other researches as well, but lot of rephrasing is required, lot of rethoughts are required. So we need to avoid plagiarism, and how to do that we will be doing it, we will be covering it this webinar. Okay, now how to identify plagiarism in a given written material. There are some ways by which you can identify plagiarism. This slide is particularly for the academician, so please pay attention. Okay, so basically spelling mistakes can tell you that this is a plagiarized research work. Okay, outdated quotes or facts, outdated topic, somewhere it is present tense, somewhere it is past tense, somewhere it is future tense. So the fluctuating grammar. Okay, dramatic change in the language. You understand that what kind of language one particular student writes. Understood? How one students write, that is very clearly reflecting. Okay, you can very clearly understand that how a students write. So if not that ways he or she is writing, so you can read it and you can understand it that this work is not of that particular students. Okay, different font size, different formats. Okay, and all of a sudden out of the track language. If you are copying, okay, if you're copying somebody else's work, out of the way language changes. Okay, all right. Now, some online softwares I'm telling you with which you can check the plagiarism. Okay, these are free softwares, maybe some sort of subscription may be required, but first, for first timer, it is free. Okay, now how to use the plagiarism software for detection? You need to go for the search bar, you need to check the software checker, plagiarism checker. Okay, you need to download it, and then you need to upload your file. It is into text form, Microsoft Word document form, PDF format, HTML file. Then you upload it, and then the software will detect the plagiarism, and it will look like this is into Turnitin. Turnitin, basically it is to one of the software which tells the minutest of the plagiarized material. Even if the very slight of the material plagiarism is there, it will tell that also. Even very slight material is there, it will tell that too. Okay, this is the way plagiarism will occur. Okay, will reflect when you will choose it from the software. Okay, similarly like this. So this is showing 91% plagiarism. These are the sources from which it is being adopted. Okay, so now here let's take a 5 minutes break and let's join back quickly. Okay. Okay, so we are back. Now it's time to talk about how to avoid plagiarism, how to correct plagiarism. Thank you, Priyanka, to actually guiding the students that how do we correct it. Yes, hard work, rethink, and rephrasing your ideas. I'll be telling just beyond that, that how can we actually correct and how do we avoid the plagiarism. See, why did I tell you about plagiarism a lot, types of it, and a lot about it? That it's very important to understand that plagiarism is to be understood first. It's very important to understand that yes, our work has plagiarism, because many a time we don't understand that our work has plagiarism. Okay, so first we understood plagiarism, its type of it, then our work has plagiarism, how can we detect it, how the softwares can detect plagiarism. Now, once we understand everything about it, let's correct it. Okay? All right. First is before writing, organize your sources. Whatever sources you are collecting your information from, please have a complete note of them, because scattered sources, what happen is, let's say for example I have put my A source somewhere, B source somewhere, C source somewhere, so I don't know where exactly my sources are being kept. I exactly don't know. Okay, all the sources are scattered, I don't know where they would be kept. So if I would be missing, because I know that I have collected a source, I am not intentionally missing out any citation, but my sources are not organized, so I would be missing any source. Okay, so organize your work, label your sources proper, folder, print, maintain your folder, citations would be properly accessed if you have all the folders properly labeled. Okay, keep a track of your sources, whatever magazines, whatever articles, whatever books, whatever videos you have accessed through, just make a proper folder of it. Okay, then please make sure that all your sources are credible. When I say credible, that means no Wikipedia type sources are authenticated and credible sources. Your sources should be authenticated sources. Okay, your sources should be authenticated sources, they should be properly reliable sources of to be. Okay, all right. Then second point is quote and paraphrase correctly. Now, when you are writing your work, so paraphrasing, rephrasing is very important. Now, in paraphrasing, just using little bit of synonyms are not just enough. Okay, you need to paraphrase them properly, and quoting the sources is again very much important. Like first is avoid plagiarism when quoting. Now I have given the example, like original quote is this, text is this is incorrectly quoted and this is correctly quoted. So here there is no, in this there is no quotation, citation, sorry. Here citation is given. Okay, so citation is very important, very very important. Both are rephrased, this is original text, this is paraphrased, but this is incorrect, this is correct, because here citation is given. Okay, so even if you have rephrased, you have changed the language, but if you do not have given the citations to it, it will be considered under plagiarism. Okay. Now, avoid plagiarism when rephrasing. Now, this is original text. This is paraphrasing incorrectly. This is paraphrased well. Just have a look of it. This is original text. Plastics harms wildlife in myriad ways, many of which scientists are just beginning to grasp. When birds, fish, and other animals eat plastics, the material can get tangled up inside their bodies, cause damage. Plastic can also make animal feel falsely full, so they stop eating. By Zombie 2021, this is a text, okay, which we think, which is suitable for our content or for our research work. So it is incorrectly paraphrased like, we have just substituted couple of words, just couple of words has been substituted, and no citation also. Now this is completely rephrased. Now rephrasing, just another word, please make sure, paraphrasing and rephrasing does not mean that you are changing the meaning of the content. Please make sure you are not changing the meaning of the content. You are just changing the language of it. Okay? You are just changing the language of it. Language is changed, meaning remains the same. Okay? In text citation, which comes within the text, references comes in the end. So if in text citations is missing, it falls into the category of plagiarism also. Both should be there. Both. If you say, I have given text citation, can I miss references? No. I have given references, can I mix in text citation? No. Both should be there. Okay. So just have a quick look. I am just okay. So this is the example by which you can actually paraphrase. Okay. Now here are a couple of more examples for your betterment, for your better understanding of paraphrasing. So the original text is, the task of engineer is to produce the correct product at the correct cost at the correct time, by Fox 1977. This is an original text. How did we paraphrase? We paraphrase is by, as Fox 1977 states that an engineer needs to come up with right product at the right time at a reasonable price. So the correct replaced by right, correct replaced by reasonable, here it is right time. So the meaning remains the same. Produce the correct product means to come up with the right product. So the meaning remains the same, just language twist. Okay, just have a look on the second example as well. Okay, so let's move on. Now, cite your sources correctly. Now, your language is changed. Okay, it's very important to cite the sources also. Now, your in-text citations are like this, which you introduce within the text. In text, within the text. Okay, these are the citations within the text. Okay, so please make sure that your citations are properly quoted, properly mentioned. Okay. Then comes check your work. Now, this is the time when you are about to submit your work. This is the time when you are, you know, giving away your work to any journal, to your professors, to your or publication houses. Now, any kind of mistakes, any kind of spelling checks needs to be done, needs to be properly made. Okay, some kind of paraphrase, some kind of paraphrasing needs to be done, has to be done properly. Okay. Okay, so before you submit your work, you need to be clearly understandable about the work, that whatever I'm doing, it is error free. Beat your spellings, beat your grammar, beat your citations, and if any source is missing from the list, has to be mentioned from your end also. This I suggest to my students also. Before you submit it to your any journal, before they run it to your any kind of journal checker, the journal plagiarism checker, you can submit is to any plagiarism checker yourself, and you can see that how much plagiarism is there in your work. And when it comes to how much plagiarism is there, now that depends upon, when it comes to PhD thesis, university to university have different percentage in acceptable manner. And some says generally it is below 10%, generally. Okay, but again, it is depends upon, for doctoral thesis it depends upon university to university. For or what do you say that for journal submissions, again it is for journal to journal, how much they accept. Somewhere it is 10, 8, 6, 7, 5, depends upon. Generally it is 10 or reduced than 10. But see, when we are attending these kind of webinars, our aim should be as low as we can. Okay, see, if you have properly rephrased your work, if you have properly cited your work, there will be no scope of plagiarism at all. Okay. 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 Now, how to avoid plagiarism? First is cite your sources properly. Your in-text citations should be properly there. Your bibliography should be properly mentioned. Now, what happened many a times, if I am going through your, if I'm doing your review of your paper, so I as a reviewer can randomly check that this is an in-text citation, whether it is properly updated in bibliography or not. So, bibliography and in-text citation should be updated. Firstly, if it is done, check. Paraphrase and summarize. So, language rephrasing should be there. Okay. Meaning should not be changed. Understand. Meaning should not be changed. It's only about the idea. Okay. Once it is done, check. Okay. Then, third, keep a track of the sources since the beginning. Whatever sources you are referring to, whatever sources from XYZ places, just keep a track of them. Just don't lose the, what do you say, the just don't lose the track of all the sources at any point in time, because once you just get away with them, any one source is missing, that gives you a loophole for plagiarism to enter. Okay. Okay. Do not cut copy paste. That's, I think, a thumb rule for us, for you, for anybody who is thinking of plagiarism to avoid, do not cut copy paste. Do not cut copy paste ever, ever, ever. Do not cut copy paste. Okay. Plagiarism prevention checklist. Uh, when you are using somebody else's exact word, somebody has said something, you need to copy them exactly, because like Shakespeare said, what's there in the word, you can't change that. So just put them into inverted commas as a quote. If you're using somebody else's idea, you just need to rephrase them. Okay. Proper citation should be there. Proper bibliography, references by the end of the work should be properly there. Even if it's your own paper, citation should be there. Before submitting your work, you should run your work through any plagiarism checker for final check. Okay. Okay. Now, how to do referencing, this is very important, and just a very important aspect for all of you to avoid plagiarism. When we are doing referencing, how to be done? There are various ways to do the referencing. First is American Psychological Association, which is called as APA format. When you are doing in-text citation, this is done by last name, comma, okay, last name, comma, year. What is the rule of each referencing pattern? I have given in detail, like surname, first name, middle name, year, the article title, the journal name, page, issue, volume, issue, and page. Okay. So I have explained every referencing style in detail. And where do you use this style of referencing? I have used that also in detail. How do you use this reference in-text citation for each referencing? That also, like for example, in Vancouver style, you give a number to the in-text citation. Instead of doing this, like last name and year, you just quote a number, and against that number, in the last, you give the detailed referencing. Okay. So when you are submitting your paper, when you are submitting your article, you need to see that what kind of referencing your journal is asking. If they are going for APA, the above style is given. If they are going for Chicago, the next would be given. If they are going for Vancouver, this is given. So you need to see that how the journal is asking for. Okay. Somebody has asked how to cite paper. This is what I've been explaining, how to cite a paper. In Chicago also, you give the last name and the last name of the author and the year of publication. Okay. In modern language style, same, last name, but no last name, page number without punctuation. Okay. These are generally, you come up with Chicago style and APA. APA is the most common style of referencing, which generally universities and the journals they ask. Okay. Okay. So there are a couple of points which needs to be focused when we talk about uh, different sources to be referenced. Like for example, if we have websites, for instance, if there is a educational institution, so you put it like .edu. If it's a government department, you put it like .gov. If it's a network access provider, you put it like .net. If it's like a non-profit organization, you put .org. If it's a commercial site, you put .com. Okay. Always go for like this point I'm talking about, grammatical errors or spelling errors. Wikipedia kind of sources are not to be trusted upon, and some scholarly materials should be trusted upon before you go for citations. Okay, so every references also should not be focused upon. All right, so this should be kept in mind. Okay, very clearly you need to remember that whatever referencing we are putting in, whatever material we are using it, is it to be trusted upon, is it not to be trusted upon, what kind of source we are referring to, what kind of website we are accessing to. Like for example, you are talking about Forbes, we are talking about Harvard, we are talking about these are very authenticated websites. These are not to be thought twice. Okay, okay. Now this is the last section of this webinar, wherein you will be talking about editing. Now, paper which is in the publishing process, paper which is in the publishing process is called as manuscript. So we are talking about manuscript editing. Okay, so you need to focus on that when we are talking about publication of any paper. You need to focus on the grammar, spelling, punctuation of that manuscript, because once our paper is finally ready, we can't do anything about it. Okay, so when we talk about manuscript editing, that there are also a couple of type of it. Like for example, in substantive or content editing, so in that the manuscript editor, they talks about structure of it, the manuscript style of manuscript, or if one section needs to be moved to another section, like it happens to, we feel like, this paragraph can comes into next section, this section can comes into another section, or this line can move to another paragraph. This comes into content editing. Okay, then comes copy editing stage. Copy editing stage basically focus more on language, grammar, punctuation. Okay, any inconsistency is there, if there is any, in the manuscript. Okay, then comes proofreading. Now proofreading is giving a final touch to your paper. If any kind of revision is required, like content editing, any movement is required in your content, your line needs to be rephrased, your in-text citations needs to be retouched, your punctuation, your grammar needs to be worked upon. So all that final touch upon falls into the category of proofreading. And let me tell you one very important aspect. Authors generally, I'm telling you very true things, authors generally avoid this thing. They think that we have done the best of our research, our data collection is best of it, so proofreading is not required. But this is very important. Okay, so that's why I'm talking about why it is important. Your grammar errors comes out of it, your paper becomes refreshed, high chances of publications, your writing get clarified. Okay, now there are some instructions for editing and proofreading. Get some distance from the text. That means when you are writing, you just get, do not get a chance to what do you say that look at these some mistakes which are otherwise very much clear in front of you. Okay, so just get yourself away from your paper after some time, then come back to it. Okay, then if online you can do the proofreading better, or paper version is good for you, try changing the font size of the paper, of the material research work for the better proofreading. Or you may hire some professionals also. Some quiet place should be there for your proofreading. Take some breaks, and very importantly, if you think that you are not confident about proofreading, let me be very clear. If you think that you may be a good researcher but not a very good, you do not have very good command on English, so please do not try your hand on proofreading also. Hire a professional, because you have tried your best, you have given your best for research, but what if it's not presentable, right? So the paper, whatever is presented nicely, is worth publishing. Okay, all right, so there are some proofreading tools which are there in front of you. Okay, you may take help of them also. And anyways, research graduate is always there for you for your help for proofreading as well. Okay, now before I end my webinar, there are some points for you, and you'll be getting the recordings for your PPTs, for your webinar recordings, whatever we have discussed. Your certificates will be delivered to you, PPTs will be given to you. So everything will be given to you on your registered email ID. So please make sure that the email ID is correct. Okay, so that's all for today. Now we are on for the questions. Okay, all right, let's have some questions now. Yes, Pavitra, the questions are the session is completed. I think you have joined in between, or you have missed somehow. Thank you so much. Don't say, Ashok, that you are poor in English. We are a learner, we are at different stages. Uh, you don't say that you are poor in English. We all are different learners. It's okay. Okay, PPTs will be given to you. PPTs will be given to you. Don't worry. I told you. Okay. Yes, Micheline. You want me to tell you about the Harvard referencing? So in Harvard referencing, it's very simple. The surname is there, first letter of the author's first name, then your middle name if is there, first name, publish, then title, then journal. Similarly, like APA. Okay. Yes, Sarita, you will get the PPTs. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Okay. Any reference book for what? Okay, okay. There are questions. There are questions. See, any better referencing tool. This is depends upon individual to individual. So my research, see, YJP, whatsoever the name is, Turnitin basically tells you the very minutest of the plagiarism. Very basic plagiarism also will tell you. So you'll please go through each of the plagiarism points which the Turnitin software has tell, and check if it's a major one, then work on them, because Turnitin tells you very basics also. Okay, it's given in the PTVs you will be receiving. There are software, Priyanka, there are software which accepts the work which is beyond 1000 words. If not, then you may break your work, you submit the work in two phases, like 500, 500, or 400, 4, if you're going for free applications, like that. PPTs you will be getting. Turnitin gives you have to get the access. There is, I think, You need to take some subscription for Turnitin. Yes, Shweta, I do give the lectures offline as well. Thank you, Yatra. Thank you so much. Published before the owners. Work sent to experts are being published before the owner. So that means, Khader, that means you have not checked that the area you are working on is been already published. That means your literature review has not been thoroughly done. So Seba, in-text citation and had to differ from paraphrase. In-text citation had and how it is. Paraphrasing is you are changing the language. In-text citation is that source from where you have taken that content. Okay. Helen, how do you quote an author who is cited by another author and you have direct access to the first author? Okay. First, you taken the first author from where you have taken. Then you write. I'm talking about in-text citation. So when you are doing in-text citation, what you do is first you in-text cited the author from where you have taken. Then you say as quoted by. Then the author from where your author has taken. Okay. And in the final referencing, what you say, first you cite refer the first author from where you have taken, then you write in, then the main author from where your author has taken. Okay. PPTs will be given. Thank you so much. Thank you. How can we check plagiarism? I told you in this session only. Okay. Yes, PPTs will be given. Thank you so much. No. Authors and main authors, co-authors get the different points. Yeah. For calculating plagiarism, your plagiarism checker gives you the percentage. If Grammarly or the software are charging the amount annually, so does it mean we can get the n number of articles checked? Yeah, every software has a different, Shweta, every software has the different requisite guidelines for each number of this thing. How many articles can be put forward to it? I have given to it. I have given to it by JP by the end of my PPTs. Uh, See, Swami, I think like every journal has different percentage, but like 10 is the percentage, 10 or 10 less than 10% is the percentage where the the plagiarism is acceptable. When check the paper and turn it in software, then others give plagiarism report. Is that when check the paper and then others give another plagiarism? Is that possible? Abhishek, I couldn't understand your question, please. You're asking me, Sanjay, another question. It is related to the previous webinar, but I'll still ask you how many times that journal paper published in that journal has been cited. That is impact factor. PPTs will be given to you. PPTs will be given to you. Thank you so much. If we tag any one reference from other reference, then which one have to cite? Both. First, from for which you have taken, followed by from where that reference has taken. Both will come. Both will come. Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Seba. You may contact with the details I have given you for the offline lectures. You may definitely get in touch with me, Shweta. You can reach me on the WhatsApp number given to you in the beginning of the webinar. You can get in touch with us. Okay. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you so much. Thank you. I have given YJP softwares I have given to you. Paraphrasing a sentence or paraphrasing without changing the meaning. Yeah, see, paraphrasing means you are changing the language, keeping the meaning same. Okay. All right. Or paraphrasing without changing the meaning. Fall under no. Second does not fall into the plagiarism. When we are not changing the meaning, but we are changing the language, does not fall into the plagiarism. Okay. See, authenticity of online praising tools, you use some commonly used one, they are authentic one. Plagiarism is a kind of similarity only. Okay, Swami. Okay. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you so much. It's good to paraphrase empirical reviews. Yes, but see, paraphrasing is important. I have given, Rakesh, I have given the sources. Thank you so much. Thank you. Scopus, I think. Scopus, YGP, Scopus. Sarita, this is a way, this happens with everyone, dear. I think everyone who has at your place has stuck with the same. Okay. See, Salma, when you are checking your doctoral thesis, your entire thesis get checked for plagiarism. Okay. Your entire thesis get checked. You can't say that I can exclude any chapter. No, you can't say that. You need to get in touch for every chapter. Okay. You need to go for every chapter. You can't exclude any chapter. All right. Thank you so much. You'll be notified soon, Deepak. You'll be notified soon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Accidental plagiarism, Sumit, when we are not intentionally doing, like for example, I told you, we forgot to cite any source. That is accidental plagiarism. Okay. All right. See, classical, how can we justice with the classical sources is that just don't copy them. That's the only thing I can help you with. See, in our article, experimental methods will be same paper to paper. Research methods can be same, yes. Yes, Swami, yes. Any training means, okay, Rajesh, I am not able to understand. Thank you, Shilpi. Thank you so much. See, meaning we are not supposed to change anyhow, Mona Lisa. We just need to change the language. That's I'm telling you. We just need to change the language. We need not to change the meaning. Okay? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wrong sequence. See, try that if you have all the citation put well in placed, like all the sources are well in, like citation is number one. Try that, by the end of this, what I do is referencing, I put it in ascending order. Okay. In Chicago style, you need to be very careful for the sequencing also. I have, Kali Prasad, I have mentioned the softwares in the PPTs. Sure, Shalma, Shalma. Ashok, you may contact the team if you are struggling with the this thing. No, with your language problem, you may contact the team. Yes, YJPC. Many a time these organization names they will come into the plagiarism highlight. You can't do anything about that. Okay. Yeah, you may go ahead with this, Palmo. You may go ahead with this. It will be shown share, Mansa. It will be shown share. I have checked Iti. I have mentioned the softwares in my PPT. Thank you so much. Thank you. Proofreading also, Mrs. Sanjay, if you're looking for some professionals, research graduate can help you for the same. Okay? They can help you for the same. Thank you all. Thank you all for attending. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, editing and proofreading, everything. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have mentioned, Ashok, I have mentioned. Thank you so much. Thank you. So let's have again meet in the next webinar. The topic for the same will be communicated to you soon. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.